And a very good afternoon to you wherever you're watching us from. This is TV47 News Now, where we get to inform you of the day's happenings across the 47 counties of the Republic, across our borders and beyond. My name is Samson Jura. Let's begin this broadcast with the highlights.
Top on News Now. President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga have signed a cooperation agreement aimed at addressing 10 key issues affecting the country, including the implementation of the NADCO report. Meanwhile, the agreement between President Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga has sparked mixed reactions both online and offline.
Ya leo naona sisi kama watu wa party ya ODM unaona kama hii party yetu inasambaratika.
Fear and panic have gripped Marsabit following an outbreak of Kalonzo, with residents calling on the government to act swiftly and contain the spread.
22047 is the short SMS code. The hashtag on X is TV47 News Now. My name is Samson Jura. Remember, you can find this and much more available to you on our website at www.tv47.digital. Let's get started. ODM party leader Raila Odinga has clarified that his political pact with President William Ruto is not a coalition. Speaking during the signing ceremony at the KICC, Raila urged Kenyans who are interested in having a stable, inclusive and progressive country to support the deal. On his part, President Ruto has vowed to do everything within his power to ensure former Premier Raila Odinga is respected. Speaking during the cooperation agreement signing at the KICC, Ruto stated that all peers, juniors and seniors should acknowledge Raila's contributions that span across generations. The two have ended months of speculation about the future of their broad-based agreement, especially after Raila's loss at the AUC. The duo have said that the deal will bring to an end the grandstanding and alienation of whole communities and regions.
And other stakeholders in the Kenyan society to address these long-standing challenges that threaten our nationhood. As a first step towards this collaboration, His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga did set up the National Dialogue Committee in the year 2023 and hereby make this resolution on the initiatives that must be undertaken to instill further confidence in the country.
Economic stimulus programs must therefore be initiated. Young people must also be mainstreamed in all political spaces to bring their voices to the table and in their participation to the center of all activities.
There. Just open the front page and display for a photo session. Front page.
And remaining part of this event. As I do that, allow me, Your Excellencies, to say two things. The first is to say I am a proud Kenyan to see what is happening here today.
ODM. ODM. You see, wako tayari. Well, I'm very happy to stand before you here this morning to talk to you.
Party leader of my former party.
Still on that, President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga have defended their cooperation, saying it is in the interest of Kenyans. Addressing scores of their supporters outside the KICC after signing the 10-point memorandum of understanding, the two leaders said the agreement is meant to unite Kenyans and resolve the country's long-standing political, economic and social challenges.
Nairobi hoye! Asanteni vijana. Vijana, tafadhali kaa kimya hapa. Kaa kimya hapa, kaa kimya hapa. Kaa kimya hapa. Kaa kimya hapa. Haya. Vijana mnafurahi?
Nairobi hoye! Nairobi, assalamu alaikum. Bwana asifiwe. Hebu nione kwa mkono watu wa Nairobi, nione watu wa Nairobi. Vile baba amesema, hayawi hayawi. Leo ni ile siku. Leo ni ile siku ya kumalizana na ukabila, kumalizana na chuki, kuondoa ubaguzi na kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Mimi nataka niwaulize wangwana wa Nairobi. Leo mimi na baba tumeweka sahihi maelewano ya kuunganisha taifa la Kenya iwe taifa moja. Tulete jamii zote za Kenya pamoja, dini zote za Kenya pamoja, sehemu zote za Kenya pamoja. Na wauliza watu wa Nairobi, munasema tuungane?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we've seen today at the KICC is akin to what we've seen on 3 separate occasions. Remember, President William Ruto has signed a memorandum of agreement with who has been the opposition leader for a very long time, that is Raila Odinga. And let's take a look at what is inside that pact and some of the things they've agreed in order to have that particular understanding. Now, one of them is a 10-point memorandum, and one of them is full implementation of the NADCO report. Remember, members of parliament from both divide, from Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, sat a while back, and it was a committee that was chaired by Kalonzo Musyoka. Eugene Wamalwa was also in that particular panel, as well as Kimani Ichung'wah, who was representing the Kenya Kwanza side. Now, the second bit of that particular agreement is protection and strengthening of devolution. The third is the urgent audit of the national debt, stopping wastage of public resources, as well as inclusivity in budgetary allocations and public appointments. Of course, we did see there was a broad-based government agreement where some members of the ODM party were incorporated into President William Ruto's cabinet. Of course, another deal is right to peaceful assembly and compensation to all victims of human rights abuse. Of course, this is something that has been spoken about since the June 2024 demonstrations that saw a lot of youth lose their lives in those particular demonstrations. Now, the other one, which is number 7, is economic investment in the youth. Number 8 being leadership, integrity, an end to show of opulence. Remember, some of the things that led to the youth, especially the Gen Z, head to the streets was how members of the government and even legislators allied to the government side, that is Kenya Kwanza, were showing off some of the things that they do have, that is wealth. Of course, number 9 in that agreement is protection of the sovereignty of the people and stopping of abductions and the suppression of the will of the Kenyan people and the freedom of press. Number 10, which is last on that list, is strengthening the war against corruption. Well, residents of Kondele, Kisumu County have expressed mixed reactions following the move by the ODM party leader, that is Raila Odinga, to sign a memorandum of understanding with President William Ruto, whereas as a majority have hailed the deal, some see it as a waste of time with no benefit for Kenyans. However, the residents are afraid that the ODM party might be absorbed by the government and no longer be independent. The residents want Raila to advocate for the rights of Kenyan youth who lost their lives or were injured in the previous demonstrations.
Majina, mimi naitwa Tobias Okoth kutoka Kisumu constituency, Kondele ward. Mimi maoni yangu ya leo katika jumba la KICC, mimi naona ya kwamba hii muungano ya Raila na Ruto ya leo, naona sisi kama watu wa party ya ODM Unaona kama hii pati yetu inasambaratika. Tunaomba Raila Amolo Odinga, hata kama anataka hao vijana wake wa ODM kupata maviti, hizi cheo kuku kama PS na nini, tunamuomba asiharibu pati. Hii pati yetu ni pati kubwa, chukue pati aingize kwa pati ndogo kama ile ya UDA. Tunataka UDA ndio join ODM.
William Ruto alitupia kura 207. Saizi Ruto ni president hadi 2022. Melmo.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Marvin. Natoka hapa Kondele. Mimi nitaongelea on behalf of youth hapa. Sisi kama mavijana naweza sema kuungana kwa Ruto na Raila ni kitu sisi tunapendekeza, kwa sababu pia sisi pia tunapenda amani kama watu wa Kondele. Lakini pia kwa hizo uchaguzi wenye wanaenda kufanya, tunaweza omba baba na tumuombe Ruto pia aconsider mavijana. Mavijana walitoka nje, mavijana waliumia, kuna wengine bado wamepotea mpaka saa hii. Waangalie mambo ya vijana. Asante.
And Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has dismissed the political pact between President Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga, terming it a betrayal of Kenyans. Speaking at the Uhuru Park Jamboree during the People's Dialogue Festival, Kalonzo trashed the deal, arguing that it fails to address the pressing issues raised by the youth. He called on President Ruto to first abolish the affordable housing levy and ensure the Social Health Authority SHA functions effectively before seeking Raila's backing.
If as they sign at KICC, they do not come up with a formula to say we are going to compensate for the lives of the young Kenyans who are killed during constitutionally valid, constitutionally enabled demonstrations in 2024 and in 2023, because we lost close to 100 young Kenyans. If there is no formula out of KICC today showing Kenyans how they are going to compensate the families and the loss of lives because of police brutality, then, as my brother said, nothing will come out of KICC other than betrayal of the Kenyan conscience. Hear me, fellow Kenyans, hear me. We are talking about the People's Loyal Coalition because we'll be guided by the values under Article 10 of Constitution 2010. The only true legacy that is holding us together, and I was honored to have been sworn at this place as Kibaki's vice president twice. Although they have changed the character of Uhuru Park, they cannot change the history of Uhuru Park.
Away from the Ruto-Raila agreement, Kenya's failure to fulfill the United Nations Treaty on Matters Disability Inclusion has become a source of concern among medical experts home and abroad. According to the experts, this goes contrary to the pledge that ought to ensure persons living with disability enjoy the highest attainable standards of healthcare without discrimination on the basis of disability. The health inequality stem from poverty, exploitation, violence, and abuse. Meanwhile, young Kenyans have been advised to exercise their young age to avoid diseases that might crop up as someone is growing old. The society has also been urged to promote and support exercise that will improve the health of an individual. Health professionals from Australia today morning conducted a lecture at university to university students at Mount Kenya University, advising them on why it is important to be active and ensure health issues are given priority.
But what that actually means is that Kenya has an unequivocal obligation to make sure that people with disability are included in all parts of life. In terms of whether we have arrived there, it is very, very difficult to live up to our obligations under the UNCRPD. Australia finds it challenging. Kenya is finding it challenging. But in answer to your question, I think there has been so much change since the signing for Kenyans with disability. But I also think that there's obviously a lot more work to be done.
I mean, it's really trying to look back and reflect on what's happened, what went wrong, and what can we do a little bit better. The issue, most likely the next pandemic is going to be a respiratory pandemic again, and the issue of good indoor air quality is essential to prevent that. So I think that's something we need to focus on. But there needs to be investment from key bodies and the government to make sure that the lesson we have learned are now implemented and not just put in a drawer.
Diseases, so cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease. And I said before, it's not just the young people that we need to focus on, it's teenagers. Often when they start studies at university, they stop being active. Life's too busy. But no, life's not too busy to be active. We sit down too much. Every couple of minutes, get up and move around. It's good for our body. Even through the older people. Older people complain, oh, I'm too sore, my muscles are sore, my joints are sore. It's because they've stopped being active during their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So I think it's important for society.
Let's get sporty. The NBA Junior Tournament heads to Mombasa this weekend for the second region extravaganza. 40 teams comprising of 480 boys and girls will battle for the coast title at the Aga Khan Academy. Winners will walk away with smartphones and airtime in the 5x5 competition. The players are part of the 10,000 boys and girls nationally who will also undergo financial literacy training. After Mombasa, the tournament will head to Eldoret and Kisumu. The regional competition will culminate into a national bonanza in collaboration with school games. The best 50 boys and 50 girls will be scouted to attend a development camp in April. That marks the end of the broadcast this afternoon.